Hello people, and welcome back to part 7 of Ilos, our modded Cities Skylines build. Hope you're having a wonderful day. And thank you so much indeed for all the support during our live stream. On Saturday we had a wonderful time piecing together some green cities, gated community ideas. So thank you for everyone that stopped by and had their input. Also some wonderful turquoise lighting against the European stone bridge. Enormous fan of this. This is really good. And then also decorated our roundabouts, brought in some more suburban sprawl, alongside some more strip mall and church vibes, and an enormous IKEA. Thank you so much for all of the support on the live streams. However, in today's episode, we are going to build the city's first campus. So of course, last episode we set up the initial start of the mile grid frame. And during episodes now, this allows us to come in and start working with different designs to fill out this grid with many different things. And kind of the first main design we're going to place here today is a campus, because we are quickly nearing a point where we need a campus facility. We only have the faculty buildings in at the moment, and these kind of suck, so we'll get rid of them. So on the stream, we actually hit 20,000 population, which gives us access to the liberal arts buildings, which I think I'm quite keen on using purely because of the red tiles that they have. I think this is going to work quite nicely with a kind of Arizona and Phoenix themed build. So let's clear out the area, get a forest brushed, and we'll build a campus, shall we? So I have removed the little big box retail we had in the corner here. We only really implemented this last episode so we could see this little diamond slipway getting some use, which it is now, so that's good. So I think we're going to start out with one of these smaller one-lane, one-way US roads. Now, of course, we're working with the mile grid, so perfect increments of 50 are going to be amazing here, but I think we can do units of 45 from each side. And that's going to line us up nicely. Connect these two back into the main road. Now, I do want this one to be 3-lane with no parking as we come back onto the main arterial. And then we'll move back into this one here. So the measurement down here is 8 units. I want to take this main stretch up to about 30 units, I think. So let's come out by 22. Same again on this side. And in total, that's going to give us a measurement of 30 units back to the main road. And we can now sort out our directions of flow and remove these frames. Okay, wonderful. And we should now have a distance of 10 tiles between the two nodes as well, which we do. That's great news. We'll come back in with a one-way system. Let's come across to our 2-lane roads and let's grab ourselves, I think there's one of these marked up yellow median. 2-lane roads will be fine. And these are going to feed kind of either side back of the campus. There, okay? So we're going to move over to the Park Lights Paths as Road mod, which is amazing. If you don't have this, highly recommend it. And I think we'll do 30 tiles initially. Let's maybe go for 40. Let's throw on an extra 10 units. So with this kind of central reservation now, I want to come into my landscaping tools and start painting out some sand, which of course in our theme, in Ilos, is actually grass. I think this is going to be a really nice kind of aesthetic looking down here as we come to place the campus main building at the head of this rundown. And of course we are going to name this the Tucson University after my horrific mispronunciation of the word. But I do now know it's pronounced Tucson, so thank you so much for clarifying that up. Because I did not know. All right. But we're already starting to see some vibes form up here, all right? This is happy. There is one thing I want to start introducing into today's build, and that is going to be Metro. So I'm going to come across to my Park Life Path as road again. I'm going to have this intersect in the middle. Now there's a perfect Metro station that I'm thinking of from the content creator packs, and this is going to be one of the sunken ones. So we've got a couple of options available here. I think I'm feeling the wider sunken dual island platform metro station, and we can essentially use this as an excuse to have it as kind of a metro transfer point, right? We're not central here, but that isn't a problem anymore with Move It, thank God. And this is going to give us a really nice layer of depth in the campus, especially as we start to surround the outer layers of this kind of main central pathway with it as well. Alright, very nice. So let's discuss some detailing palettes for this kind of central spine that's flowing through the campus, alright? I'm going to grab myself a couple of favourites of the California short fan palm. We're going to use a prop line tool here to align this with a 20 meter interval. And I'm thinking, why don't we have some little palm lined paths that are going to sit in the middle of the campus here, okay? Now, rather than placing the buildings directly on the pathway here, I'm thinking we're going to come in with another layer of path essentially, and seeing what we can do with them. So let's actually come down into our pathways and we'll grab just a trade score path for right now. There's not too much differentiation between the different types of path. And if we were to draw this in, we can hopefully just come on with Anarchy and link in, and we can provide connections for people to get through there. So now maybe nudge this node over a little so we're somewhat central, okay? Now, I think they will still read this as a connection from path to path that is road. We'll see. But then what this kind of secondary pathway allows us to do is now start kind of placing our kind of large key important assets, such as like liberal arts study halls. So we can have one here. And then let's stick to the main ones. We'll go for a gymnasium. This can also come in here too. Why don't we grab a cafeteria up on one of the corners? What we'll actually do here is adjust you over, and then we'll let that pathway carry on through the campus as well. That's going to be a nice idea. Fantastic. Let's come back into those campus assets. Let's go for liberal arts cafeteria, which hopefully we can squeeze on the corner here. I'm very much looking forward to playing with the campus assets with Anarchy today as well. There's not that many kind of custom campus buildings on the workshop, unfortunately, but I think with the mods and the vanilla ones, we can have a relatively nice time. So I think I'm going to be initially happy with this concept. Okay, let's repeat the idea on this side as well. Let's bring it up there, okay, and then we'll do the same thing here, and we'll just simply grab both the nodes and move it and give them a little slidey slide. We'll hold Alt as well so we're not breaking the straight line. You just want to be pushed back a tiny bit. There we go. Now let's carry on placing some of these larger assets here. So we also have a liberal arts library. So we can have this on the corner as well. That's going to be amazing. Definitely a media lab. Actually, I think I want the media lab on the corner because I know this is a super great looking corner asset. However, the beaches are totally throwing off the design, so we're going to beautify our builds. We'll select the alders. We will have no probability and replace them, and then we will come into, we'll go for one of our taller palms here. And then we'll add a few in. How about 3 there, just out front? That's going to be nice, isn't it? Huge fan of this asset. This asset works in so many places. I use this a ton in Palavin's European downtown. Super nice. Then we'll come back in and introduce the library. If I can find it, there we go. Of course, we'll use a couple of these assets around the campus today, but very much constructing kind of the main rundown is going to be a huge, huge aesthetic appeal of this campus. So that's what we'll do first. But just again, remembering that I do want these pathways to carry on flowing around the campus. Also going to come off road length and grid too. There we go. That's nice. And then we can move you up to the corner. And there's opportunities for, again, perhaps another cafeteria or kind of smaller building like the dance clubs to fit in here as well. Let's have a look at a laboratory. Oh, this is a good one, isn't it? This is a nice one. Yeah, this is a super important building. Okay. Again, possibly a building I want to switch out with the auditorium here on the corner, so it kind of matches the media labs. I think that's what we'll do. And let me move the auditorium over here, and then you, Mr. Laboratory, we're gonna come and sit over here. I can also rotate the cafeteria around too. You know, I feel like there's so much choice in Cities Skylines, and I used to be indecisive, but now I'm not so sure. I think that definitely works better there, right? Maybe even having this exposed corner on the side actually is the way to go. Yeah, it is, isn't it? It clearly is. Oh, welcome to our modded campus build, everyone. It's going to be a fun one today, I think. Yes, that's what we want, right? We probably want to just complement a couple of those textures on the bottom with Surface Painter as well. Yeah, just like that. That's going to be both splendid and tremendous. Cool. That's a much more appealing corner asset now, isn't it? Kind of got that open courtyard in the building. And that's going to sit really nicely, kind of in this central rundown now, right? Looks like that metro station isn't quite centralized either. We'll sort that out. Okay, wonderful. So that should give us more than enough campus attractiveness. We now actually just need to let the game play. So we can actually see people attending the campus, which will be tremendously exciting news. Let's go ahead and hook people in with power temporarily. So I think I do want the main building kind of on its own road rather than the path network. So we're going to move it out of the way very briefly. I want to stick to using these same kind of yellow median roads here. Now I want to snap to probably grid for this, I imagine. Let's leave and road length too. Let's do 8 tiles either side. Alright. And we can use pathways to link that together. Make sure that you are accommodated. Back over this way. Somewhat centrally, pretty easy to align this one with those central lights on the pathway with the move it tool. Okay, yeah, I think that's a little better, isn't it? It's only a very small change, but a change that's needed, I think. We're going to bring out a little road like this, okay? 7 units either side, and let's just bring it out. So we're like that. I think I want to use network multi-tool to just create a little connection between these guys over here. It's just going to give me a nice little simple curve back into that already existing road network without having to manually draw it. So that's just using the network multi-tools create curve mode. Super handy for doing stuff like this, okay? I think I probably want to bring this node down here as well, maybe so we're slightly flatter at the back. There's plenty of decoration palettes we can bring around this today as well. Alright, wonderful. You are missing power though, so we will have to give you a little connection very briefly. And then we can bring our pathways up so people can join that main road at the top as well. We'll also do the same thing here with the central point. Fantastic. Wonderful. So already we're not looking too bad. However, there are distinct features of Tucson University that we need to implement into this design today, and one of those is the American football stadium, which is a big old boy, alright? This is a big old beast, the American football stadium. So why don't we place this here initially, okay? Now its orientation and everything else about it is going to be incredibly important, alright? And check in from all different angles. This is going to be kind of the first, I guess this is kind of like the start of Midtown, right? You know, we're building kind of a smaller downtown, and we'll include office space in this build today as well. So it's going to be like a little central Midtown before you reach downtown, which of course sit at the end of this road here. So that should be quite fun. Alright. I don't know if I like the yellow seats, so let's go ahead and change that into something of like a navy blue, if possible, in honor of 2C, for always help with the series. Yeah, that's going to be nice, right? I'm starting to see these layers and little intricacies of personality beginning to make themselves known. So I have downloaded a bunch of parking garage assets. These ones here from King Leno. So we have 3. We have a modern garage. There's one over here. We have a downtown one. This thing is massive. Oh my word. It's huge. And then we have a modern garage. So it functions exactly the same as a parking lot, but of course it's tiered. And parking lots are something we get a lot of in England, and certainly looking around Phoenix, you have them a lot there as well. Kind of these multi-story units, okay? So we use a couple of these in tandem with this stadium today as well. So we delete you. And then let's have a little look what we think. So let's go for... how big is the downtown garage compared to the stadium? Yeah, I think I can enjoy it. Now, there does look to be roads coming out of the back here. Now, is this a connection point, I wonder? Not entirely sure. Definitely looks like it wants to be boxed in with a road network, which I am more than happy to do. So we'll come up here again. We want our road length and angles on for drawing in networks like this. Yeah, that makes a little more sense, right? Let's bring this alongside the stadium too. And then we'll box this perfectly in around the back. We'll throw in some light to either side. So now we've got a stadium here. This thing's going to start drawing an absolute ton of people. So now feels like a good point to go ahead and get the metro stations hooked in. So with the public transport, what I'm thinking is the metro is going to run with the arterial network to help support it, whilst trams down here in the south, which we prepared last stream, will kind of serve each of the mile grids alongside buses and eventually monorail once we probably move a little more downtown. But that's the plan, okay? So if we're going to have a metro point here, now this is a dual platform station, so we can use this as a transfer point. So then I'm going to have a stop here. And then we'll have one up on the corner. There we go. That's what we want. So you can use network multi-tool to hook metro lines together. Doesn't just work with road networks. So we'll have this one come out. I actually think it's probably a slightly more sensible idea to split these two at the entrance into the metro station. Like so. Let's turn off road bending as well. Don't want that. Also, no angle snapping either. Boom. Okay, and then what we can do is just bring these, also come off into the grid snap here as well. So we bring these down by 12, and then again we can just draw out one here. Make sure we're somewhat straight with that angle snap though. I want to try and make the metro network in Ilos kind of nice. So coming into network multi-tool, we can select these two here. Again, select your node ends, and then it will draw in a little curve, which, as we can see as we go underground, will now allow us to form some metro connections. So let's have one here. And then you're going to head all the way down this way. And then come back again. Probably also afford to do the same on this side too, but I would like to leave them symmetrical. So that's a cost of 3040 with no grid or angle snap on. So we can easily repeat that here, okay? And then I'm just going to line them up with the outside of the main building. And then they can now run on an angle snap in various different places. You are more than likely going to go into the downtown, so we will leave you to flow in that direction. Whereas you are probably going to start coming up and linking up with that southern arterial road where the trams are eventually going to land. So we'll bring in again just some temporary metro stops so we can see things in action around this part of the city. We'll also drop one over here as well. And then we can just draw them together. So this is kind of the beauty of playing with that mile grid format now, is when we're introducing public transport like this, it makes it a lot easier to introduce because we have these perfect grids and we can assign a method of public transport to work with arterials, which we have with the metro. Trams will support the kind of inner city, the collector roads and the local networks. So it should be quite an interesting experiment in the efficiency of the public transport as well. Again, just using network multi-tool's underground function. I'm going to select both these nodes and get a perfect little curve, which is fantastic. And then I am actually going to drag you as the extension onto the new stations, which is going to be wonderful. Also down to the last one as well. Adding 2 more stops here. And then likewise back at the station as well. So move that onto that line. Cool. So now we'll have metro networks active in the city for the first time. Now, so we do also have trams flowing around Tucson University. They're not kind of just on the main roads, so we'll definitely want to bring the tram network up now. So basically all of this kind of very southern arterial network will now become tram road. This is just our temporary train line, isn't it? Yes, we will arrange a method for you to either go under or over once we need you in action, but for right now, trams are the priority. To bring you up, the American Road Pack does not like the tram network. We can't do that here, but of course, remembering this is our diagonal high-speed road, so at some point this will become a major kind of diamond slipway again as we come over, which will be fun to introduce with the trams too, I think. Let's come back into those tram roads. I'm going to grab a 4-lane, actually with 6-lane here, right? Yeah, there is. Let's go for... Let's carry on with this 6-lane then, alright? Let's just do that for right now. And I think we'll probably come into the tram roads now, and let's start bringing out a little 45-degree snap here out of the junction, where the tram can now enter the campus and start flowing around a couple of different places. Okay, I think this would be maybe a really nice turnaround point for the tram here, you know, where out the front of the, yes, that's happening. That's what we're doing, everyone. Okay, so let's line this up first of all. Let's come into a road guideline snap against this road. Do I not have just a tram track road 1 unit? I don't think I do I? Okay, we'll just go with the one-way ones then. Up until a certain point at least. So, like right here. Then we'll move down to one-way. Space already occupied, but that doesn't matter because we have anarchy. Let's hook that in and then also upgrade that into one-way too. Wonderful. Looks like there's maybe 1 too many nodes happening here. Let's use network multi-tool to delete one. And that's going to be grand, isn't it? I think that's going to be really happy. Let's also bring this pathway back through because we have deleted that. Let's come on to just the angle snapper right now. And the grid while we redraw him. And I think the best case scenario here is just going to be to draw another connection down alongside the road like that. And then we can have the trams turn around in the campus, which is going to look amazing once we get this detailed, right? Let's have a little discussion about that while we're here. Be rude not to. This is so good. Loving a modded campus build, everyone. Get some grasses, also some taller trees as well. Definitely want to start hitting at the palm vibes over here, okay? Doing some taller ones too, maybe one of these. No, they're too big. Too big, that one. I think these will be okay. Wonderful. Let's go ahead and get that tram line. Hopefully start to see our trams flowing through the area, which we will have once things are lined up here. Wonderful. Of course, plenty of asset placement around the tram network now. We can essentially treat the tram track as a pathway through the campus, which is going to be cool. Okay, so you will now head all the way over here to... Ah. So I might move... Yes, I think I am actually. Oh, I don't know. Yes, I am. I'm going to move it there because I think this is probably too short for those long OE trams to come through. We'll have a look. It's going to take a while for the trams to go over here anyway. Yes, and then they can stop here, and they might as well stop here alongside the metro station too. And then we can delete this little turnaround point now it has its loop completed. Wonderful. We'll also do the same over by the other metro station too, which pretty much already has it. Yes, there we go. Metro station does want power though, so we will provide that. Fantastic. Looks like there's already 48 people catching the metro over here. Wonder if there's any folks arrived in the campus. Let's go and have a look, shall we? Yes, 11 so far in the campus station. Yes, here we go. I'll see people move around this area and enjoying all this. This is great. Let's have a little look at some surface painter in between here as well, before we carry on with our asset placement. It doesn't work massively well with the tram tracks, does it? But I think that's something that we can bear with. Same over here too. Let's get all this painted out. And I think it's just a case of kind of decorating now. If we were to have a look at some planters that we have, because we do have a few. Maybe like some of these large rectangular ones with a little bit of prop line tool as well, maybe. And the little line of flower beds now, we can perhaps introduce an easier juniper palette into the build, which I think is going to be very much appreciated. You know, we can use this as a kind of a decoration palette around the campus now. If we're ever up and against tram track, we can come back in with planters and juniper and just create little kind of alleyways of personality around the campus like this now, right? And there's a little crocodile too. Yes, please. So everyone seems to be walking to the stadium, which is fine. Oh, people are using the car park as well. That's great. I wonder if they're using the... Oh, whoa, what the hell is that? No. Don't drive. don't, my word. Oh, this isn't working as planned. that is not. They're all doing it. Oh, welcome to modded Cities Skylines, everyone. Is this... Right, if we don't pay attention to the front, are we okay? Is that just something that happens with parking garages? If it's not, let me know. If something's wrong, I'll try and fix it. But for right now, we can pretend that it doesn't exist and we have a multi-storey car park next to our stadium. Which is really good. Okay, so I want to carry on lining some more assets up and against the kind of main pathway here. Let's bring in a campus bookstore. That's definitely going to be something I'm a huge fan of. Where did we move the study hall to? Over there. Okay, how about a drama club on the corner then? Okay, and then again we can use the opportunity where we have a gap in the buildings to just bring in that pathway to continually increase the walkability. Okay, so looking at kind of Tucson University from Google Earth, there's a lot of car parking in and around the campus, both multi-storey and kind of open parking lots. So we'll definitely bring in perhaps some parking lot roads here using these ones. I think it's okay. I think I'm going to draw it off of the end here. And then let it sit with the tram track. And then we have opportunities here now for kind of either green belt or more campus assets, or indeed some office zoning to help satisfy that industrial demand now as well. So we'll place in some of our parking lots. So I did have someone comment last episode, what mod is it that is making the parking lot snap like this? It's literally called parking lot snapping. I will leave it linked down below today. It's a really good mod, and actually a YouTuber called Sunken Ship has a really nice tutorial on how to use this mod, so I'll leave that link down below as well. Do go and show us some support. But that's going to be a very much appreciated aesthetic, isn't it? Very nice indeed. So alongside kind of the main stadium in Tucson, there is kind of a collection of smaller ancillary sporting facilities, if you like. So definitely want to have a look at introducing some of these. So because Tucson has a pretty major swim team, I think I'm going to come in with, yet again, some more park life paths as roads. Easily one of my favourite mods at this point. To accommodate a aquatic centre in kind of homage to Tucson's swim team, if you like. Okay. I wonder how many times I can say Tucson today, just to hammer home the point that I now know how to pronounce it. probably too many. Alright, cool. Let's come back into our parks again, because we do have some other sports fields like football. Definitely want kind of the track and field vibes in here too. Again, do we want to line this up with the main road? and the aquatic centre. And again, I think now there's even more possibilities to come through with Surface Painter on this edge. Okay, just bear with me a second. Just paint that up to the edge of the kind of track and field asset. And then I think with Anarchy now, let's come in with the vanilla dirt path. This has been like one of my favourite modded things, is creating kind of walkable alleyways between assets using Anarchy and vanilla dirt path, or vanilla gravel path. Because now we can have people functionally walk down here now, which is going to make such a difference to kind of bring in the place to life, you know? I hope so anyway. So let's bring this one up here. Probably want an angle snap as well. So that should still work functionally. I think it just wants painting in with Surface Painter, doesn't it? Yeah, there we go. Essentially just painting out our own alleyways now, right? You kind of widen the texture of that original gravel path out with whatever you want. We'll have to use beautifier builds to get rid of the bushes there. But that's no problem. Not bad. Definitely not finished though. Let's trim off this road network now and then allow it to hug the aquatic centre with a road length snap on 2. Do one more tile than that. There we go. Fantastic. So we also have community pools. I do have a couple of pool assets. So of course there's the community pool here. Also downloaded a pool prop, which is full of grass, which does not work in this particular map. That's okay. We also get the private pools from the After Dark DLC, which might be worth exploring today as well. We'll see. But certainly some repeated community pool assets are going to be incredibly important for generating an aesthetic here, and they actually kind of fit perfectly. And that's ideal for having the hedgerow up against the road as decoration as well. So possibly even a triplet of community pools. Am I being too bold here? I definitely want the repeated pool aesthetic though. Also bring our pathway back down into the road here as well. And again, just complete our Surface Painter pattern. We're essentially erasing the old vanilla pathway to replace it with Surface Painter, but of course it will still function as walkable path, which is great. Alright, that's not too bad. Relatively happy with that. So possibly just toying with the idea of some kind of tropical garden in here as well. We'll see. I think it maybe wants to be off the main road though, so why don't we bring... Oh yes, look, here we go. This is exactly what we want to see. Let's grab this little person's first person view as she walks through the campus now. See how much of a difference that makes having the pathways in these little tight spaces like that? Because this is totally where people would walk. Got the big approach up to the stadium. All these little details which will change to beautify our builds today as well. So next up we need to start placing kind of a bunch of dorms because the students currently have nowhere to live on the campus site itself. So let's start having a look at where we're going to bring in some dorm patterns, and I'm probably thinking over here. Okay, let's start placing down some regular park assets. Maybe one of these small parks in the corner. Get one over to our metro station as well. Now, how well does a trade school path mold into a dirt? Not amazingly, but I think it can be. I think it can be dealt with. So I'm just going to start extending these park assets together so we can get a feel of what kind of space we have to work with to bring some dorms in. So a back-to-back pattern would be really nice here. Let's see if we can line this up with the... Probably even want to bring another connection off of this one down there like that. Yes, that's going to be fine. We're 100 either side there, right? Yep, that's great. So let's bring in a campus here. Great. Campus on the other side. Gives us space for some detailing. And then campus here. And campus here. So a little triplet of campuses. Everyone is happy enough. So now I want to know if I can bring pathways behind, which we can. Then we can also connect everyone down through the middle as well. course, there's opportunities here for part life detailing if we wanted to. We can start to maybe introduce some kind of cuter, more traditional green belt for the students to enjoy. Gazebos and kind of smaller little outdoor eateries, flower beds and the such like. All in these spaces here, okay? Cool. Let's turn traffic lights on here so we fix the junction. I think for an initial holding frame of dormitory assets, that's going to be enough for me. So I did mention today that I want to start bringing in some office zoning into the campus as well, which is what we'll have a look at now. So we're going to 100% probably manually plop a lot of these assets. So in Rico, we've got a couple of office looking assets under the industrial tab, which I think I'm more on board with. Have a little look at these. Yeah, so again, I think I'm wanting them off of their own road. So let's come back into our 2-unit roads and we'll grab another little road to come up this way. Again, saving those 3 tiles between the initial frame for detailing purposes later down the line. So why don't we go for one of these over here. It's not be a bad aesthetic at all, is it? I think I'm relatively happy with that. We'll also come into find it and plot the grow balls and experiment with some of the base game and other assets. And I already know that there's plenty of assets in this pool that will work here because we are, of course, seasoned in vanilla. And a lot of these office assets will work really nicely, especially these ones here for creating kind of repeated block patterns over here, right? Wonderful. Definitely want more car parking too. So let's have a look at that. Why don't we go... I wanted to bring a repeatable pattern of you guys in. You're all 4x4, aren't you? So I think that's what we'll do. We'll save 4 tiles next to that one so we can get in the next shape, which will be wonderful. Not that orientation. There we go. That's what we want. Again, I think I'm feeling another car park in here. We go for... How are you feeling there? Maybe just a touch shorter down. Again, it's going to be nice to experiment with surface paints around these patterns because where there isn't grass in the university, it's mainly concrete. So we'll have to kind of respect those designs and see what we can come up with. But this is going to blend perfectly nice with surface painter. And again, we can bring in those kind of planter designs if we want. Endless variations. Make sure that we repeat our repeated pattern of office zoning. And hopefully now we can just start to see these little... This little kind of midtown start to appear, right? I think I'm going to be happy with that. So now I want to have a little chat about the larger 3 uniques that come with the campus buildings. And there's something that I have been absolutely dying to do since basically getting the campus DLC. And we're going to have a little chat about this right now. So the School of Environmental Studies, it has a bridge going through it. Right? Choose beautify our builds. Get rid of those horrific alder trees. So ever since I've played with Campus, back in like 2018 or whenever it came out, I've been wanting to do this for so long. Is to draw a road under this bridge to give me an overpass. God, thank. That's amazing. Been wanting to do it for ages. And how great does it look as well? Having the overpass come over the road like that. Enormous. Enormous. What a technique. So 100% want to factor in this design into the campus somewhere. But again, this is kind of a big chunger's asset. So I'm going to want it kind of in and around the main square. Yeah. So let's take out the roads. And then we will relocate you to fit here. Yes. Boom. Okay. Might move these towers. They're kind of in the way a little bit, but we'll just bear with it for right now. Back into those roads. And then this is going to come up. Okay. Straight through. Then can I get a little freeform action into here, I wonder? I think I can. I don't think anyone's going to be overly offended by that either. Let's now bring the road behind the School of Environmental Studies to box it in. Probably down here as well, I imagine. Maybe one more tile out than that. Cool. That's great. Let's go ahead and dive into another one. Let's have a look at the School of Economics. This guy is a chungus as well, and I think this is going to pair quite nicely with the parking garage and all the car parking over this side. Yes, it does. And kind of fits perfectly in the space we had between the trams. Still haven't seen a tram come in, probably because I've had the game paused for the entire episode. Oh my word. No. That can't be happening. That needs to stop. I guess it's just the part life path with roads, isn't it? Are you just going to go like AWOL to where you need to be? I don't trust these pickup trucks. Oh, there's ghosts over there as well. Nice. You gonna do it? No, this seems to be okay. It seems to be alright. I definitely want to turn off all parking on the roads here. Probably would have been a sensible idea to use a road without parking, but welcome to the channel, everyone. So we'll just remove the parking ability off of all these roads. If you do want to park in the campus, please use the car parks. That's what they are there for. Of course, we're playing with advanced traffic AI as well, or advanced parking AI in Traffic Manager, I think it's called, is it? Something like that. Okay, but things are nice and busy. I'm very keen to see the usage of the metro. We do have sewage problems, however. Do we? Yes, we do. We do need a little water treatment plant. Let me just go ahead and throw one over here just very briefly. We are absolutely screaming for an industrial expansion. We will do that soon. Probably next episode we'll integrate rail industry together when we do the rail yard. So we have one more unique building, which is the School of Education, which again is another significant chungus asset. And I think I'd like this to kind of sit over in this space here to help decorate the decoration we lost on this corner with the big box retail, right? Let's use the School of Education to fix this. So I just want to have a little look at the orientation and design of it here. I think I'm going to enjoy that. I do think, however, though, that this road is now a little bit too obnoxious. I'd probably rather be doing this with Campus Pathway. Oh, this is a busy little car park, isn't it? Do you guys need bigger spaces? Or perhaps access onto this back one over here? Someone's died at the multi-story. I'm not surprised with the way they enter it. Oh yes, hello. Hello, traffic. Are all of you just trying to get into the car park? Is that what's wrong with you? Okay, I actually wonder if we want to knock this back off the main road then. If we were to plop you here, do you interfere with my back car park? Yes, you do. Only slightly though. We're playing a dangerous game having two stadium assets over here. There's such huge traffic draws, these campus stadiums. So I'm hoping once whatever's going on here figures itself out. I wonder if it's to do with the parking again. I wonder if is it actually mostly parked cars? I think it is, isn't it? Have I been sat here staring at parked cars thinking it's traffic? This is actually not. Okay. So you guys seem to be alright for the most part now? Yes, you can see as they slowly tip out. As they tip out of the parking lot. That is never not going to be hilarious. Right, and then we'll bring this down here. Don't want it to connect up. We'll just use move it to grab the very end node and make it flush. There we go. Cool. Oh no, now they're all, now they're all snowing out the back. Okay, we're on a learning curve, ladies and gentlemen. We will figure out these multi-story car parks eventually. We'll see what happens, okay? That is hilarious. That is so funny. The way they just fly out the window like that. Fantastic. Okay, so let's revert immediately back to what we were doing over here with the School of Education. So let's go into a grid snap. We're going to go through here. And we will rotate you around. Now, because this is such a nice kind of impressive frontage to the building, it'd be nice to do some detailing out here. Maybe kind of mimic the hedges. I would love to bring a water feature into the area. Obsessed with water at the minute. However, guys, that does feel like an excellent place for a detailing time-lapse. We have the bulk of the building now, and now it's time for detailing. I'm going to refine the kind of grass central reservation here and start bringing in more pathways and decoration around this kind of central plaza. Probably get some university city assets in here as well. Using the kind of catfish cafe stuff. I know they all work really nicely, and we can perhaps create some kind of community centre or square here around the metro for the students on site. So we'll have a look at those ideas. I continue with kind of natural overgrowth and palm detailing to fit around the campus, with lots of fencing to kind of segment everyone off. And of course, hopefully watch this traffic clear up once it realises what it's doing with the multi-story. I'm not quite sure. Is this just because it's so high capacity? I might switch this out for a smaller one. Visitors, yeah, okay. It's a beast, isn't it? And it's drawing a ton. It's drawing more traffic than the bloody stadium. Okay. So we'll see about that. We'll see what happens with this. Oh, there's the trams as well. You got anyone on? No. Yeah, everyone's taking the metro here instead, which is fine. You know, these trams will become more active as the subsequent grids around the university expand and become busier. But it's all here and ready prepared. But otherwise, let's get to detailing. As always, we'll be right back. Okay guys, that is going to do it for today. I want to thank you all so much for watching. If you've enjoyed the video, likes, comments and shares below really do help me out. Equally as much if you haven't enjoyed it, please feel free to leave a dislike as well. And if you have fallen in love with the content and would like to help support my work directly, there are links down to Instant Gaming and Patreon below. Really happy with the first campus build. I have rearranged those parking garages. The downtown garage seemed to absolutely murder the traffic for some reason, not entirely sure why. But replacing it with a couple of modern garages has totally fixed the traffic problem over that side of the stadium. Also brought in some high-density green cities assets to function as kind of slightly nicer on-site student accommodation. And as always, there was an absolute ton of detailing you guys wouldn't have seen, so please do hang around for the rest of the outro tag and check out Ilos's first campus at night time. Really fun building a modded campus for the first time, and I hope you've enjoyed it. Lots of nice ideas here today. And don't forget to hang around to see that shot of the road passing under the overpass in that little unique building. So happy with that. Otherwise, I will shut up and I will leave it there. Well, thank you all so much for watching. And as always, enjoy the rest of your day.